The Galactic Academy's Central Commons was designed to encourage cooperation between species. Wide ceilings to accommodate winged cadets, reinforced flooring for heavy worlders, climate zones layered carefully so no one boiled or froze. At this hour, it was quiet. Too quiet. Cadet Mara Vale sat alone near the viewport, one boot propped against the table, the mug balanced loosely in her hand. The liquid inside was dark, bitter, and steamy, earth-grown coffee, shipped at obscene expense. She read from her datapad with the lazy focus of someone enjoying a rare moment of peace. The air shimmered. 3 figures emerged from a hunter's phase gate, their arrival accompanied by the faint crackle of displaced energy. Conversations died instantly. Trays clattered. Chairs scraped back as dozens of cadets bolted for exits. The newcomers were karate, 8 feet tall, digitigrade legs, armored hides patterned with ritual scars. Each carried a weapon crafted as much for intimidation as lethality, plasma-edged glaives, humming softly with restrained violence. Their leader stepped forward, 6 eyes locking onto the lone human who hadn't moved. Human Cadet Mara Vale, the translator intoned, voice harsh and metallic. By ancient contract, your species has been reclassified as viable quarry. You have been selected. Mara didn't look up. She took a slow sip of coffee. Around them, the commons emptied in seconds. Even species known for stubborn pride fled. Everyone knew the karate reputation. They didn't fight wars. They conducted hunts. Surviving one was unheard of. The second hunter snarled. You show disrespect. Mara sighed softly, as though mildly annoyed. She set her mug down carefully, ensuring it didn't spill. I'm on break, she said. Calm. Almost bored. You're standing in my lunch space. The lead karate stiffened, mandibles flaring. You do not understand your position, Prey. I understand it fine, Mara replied, finally glancing up. Her eyes were steady. Unafraid. You're making a mess. The temperature in the room dropped. The hunters raised their weapons. That was when the floor beneath Mara's table creaked. Something massive shifted in the shadows below. The karate glanced down just as the table lifted, slowly, deliberately, on a broad, furred back. What emerged wasn't machinery. It wasn't armor. It was alive. And it was very, very awake. The creature rose to its full height with unsettling grace. It stood nearly as tall as the hunters, shoulders rolling beneath dense midnight fur that drank in the light. Its frame was lupin in shape, but exaggerated, longer limbs, thicker muscles, a chest built for impact. Yellow-gold eyes fixed on the karate with predatory focus that froze them in place. Rows of reinforced teeth slid into view as it yawned. One hunter stumbled backward. What is that? Mara leaned back in her chair. That! She reached down, fingers brushing the thick fur at her side. That's Ash. The beast's tail moved once. The air shifted from the force of it. Ash is bonded, Mara continued casually. Genetically reinforced, combat-trained, and extremely protective of my personal space. The third hunter hissed. A pet? Mara smiled faintly. If you call a controlled apex organism a pet, sure. The foolish one charged. Ash moved. One moment he was still. The next, he crossed the distance in a blur of muscle and momentum. The karate's weapon never came down. Ash hit him mid-stride, jaws closing around armored plating with a sound like crushing stone. The scream lasted half a second. Ash shook once. Then again. When the body fell, it did not move. Mara lifted her mug and took another sip. The remaining hunters opened fire. Plasma scorched the walls where Ash had been a heartbeat earlier. He weaved between bolts with terrifying precision, enhanced reflexes turning lethal weapons into slow inconveniences. You know, Mara said conversationally, standing now, everyone thinks humans are fragile. Ash slammed one hunter into a support pillar. Bone cracked. Armor folded. We don't have claws, she continued, stepping calmly forward. No venom. No natural weapons worth mentioning. The final karate backed away, mandibles trembling. But we do have history, Mara said softly. Back home, we took predators that used to hunt us and taught them to sit. She snapped her fingers. Ash froze instantly, releasing his prey and trotting back to her side, tongue lolling, eyes bright. Good, she murmured, scratching behind his ear. The surviving hunter dropped his weapon. Mercy, he rasped. Mara considered him over the rim of her mug. The commons smelled of scorched metal and fear. Ash sat at Mara's side, massive head level with her chest, breathing slow and steady. Not agitated. Not bloodthirsty. Waiting. The final karate sank to one knee. We were told humans were weak, that your kind survives through deception and numbers. Mara tilted her head. We do survive through numbers, just not always our own. She gestured to Ash. Predators respect confidence, she said. They read posture, tone, intent. Earth taught us that early. The hunter swallowed. You command a monster. No, Mara corrected. I trust a partner. She crouched beside Ash, resting her forehead briefly against his massive skull. The beast leaned into the contact with surprising gentleness. We didn't dominate our world by killing everything that scared us, she continued. We studied it, learned it, worked with it. She stood and faced the alien. That's why your hunt failed. The karate's mandibles twitched. What will you do with me? Mara picked up her mug again, inspecting the crack along its rim. First, you're paying for this. She pointed at the shattered tables, scorched walls, spilled food. Second, you're going to tell every hunting clan you know that humans are off the list. The alien nodded frantically. And third, she added, voice hardening just a fraction, you're leaving. Ash growled softly, not a threat. A reminder. The karate fled. Silence returned to the commons. Mara exhaled, then glanced down at Ash. You okay, big guy? His tail thumped once against the floor. She smiled. Academy security arrived 5 minutes later to find devastation, and a human calmly seated by the viewport again. Ash lay at her feet, massive head resting on her boots, eyes half closed. Content. One officer stared at the carnage. Cadet, do you need medical assistance? Mara shook her head. I need a refill. The officer blinked. Reports spread fast after that. Hunting clans quietly updated their databases. Galactic intelligence agencies revised threat assessments. Somewhere deep in the archives, humanity's classification shifted, from physically unimpressive to strategically terrifying. Not because humans were the strongest, but because they never hunted alone. Back in the commons, Mara scratched Ash's ears as she read. The beast's tail thumped softly, a steady rhythm against the floor. Good boy, she murmured. And across the galaxy, a simple phrase gained new meaning. Beware of the human, but fear what walks beside them.